Here we go. I'm Brian Kilmeade in for Laura Ingraham, and this is a special edition of the Ingraham Angle from New York City. Meanwhile, let's keep it New York. The New York Times editorial board calling on Joe Biden to drop out of the race in 2024. The op-ed arguing that Biden failed his own test and needs to confront the truth right now. More on this in a matter of moments. But first,
he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices, to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Right. We don't. We still don't. Last night's debate was a disaster. A disaster for Biden. Disaster for the Democratic Party. A disaster for America. To see our President of the United States crumble on live television is a sight no American should have to endure, but we did. But rather than take the warning signs of Biden's decline seriously, the media relentlessly mocked any notion that President Biden is no longer fit for office. We've been bringing it up. They just assumed without any reasoning that it was impossible for Donald Trump to come out on top in this big debate.
It's a damn shame that Donald Trump won't submit to this because he's such a coward when it comes to politics. But it would be great to have Joe Biden right there, Donald Trump right there, around any table, and say there's no shouting. We're going to ask you about policy. There is no comparison between Donald Trump and Joe Biden when it comes to knowing the facts you need to know to be president of the United States. None.
Does anyone else on that show get to talk? You know, they just seem to stare at him. But viewers of The Angle aren't surprised by what we saw last night because we've been warning you about this for years.
He's just going to be a figurehead president. Americans won't be voting for a man who can articulate a serious policy agenda, let alone defend it. They'll be voting for the party machine's geriatric puppet.
He's only gotten worse, and America knows it. We don't have a real president. We have a figurehead president surrounded by folks who want him reelected so they can make, down the road, a lot of money as lobbyists.
Yeah, well, someday we'll meet those folks. Unfortunately for many Americans, they were caught completely off guard by Biden's performance because, unlike you, they're getting their news from Democratic propaganda machines pretending to be objective voices of reason.
He's totally focused. He's very sharp. And the proof is in the performance.
He's all there, that he's sharp.
Ageism is an issue.
It's the Hillary's email. All they have is that he's old.
Start your tape right now because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
That'll be a great way for him to lead his resume tape, should he need another job. And it's not just the media. The Biden smokescreen was most forcibly delivered by those closest to him.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
His mental acuity is great. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity is declined is wrong.
Yes, that wears well, Chuck. And despite the overwhelming accuracy of our recent reporting about Biden's decline, rather than address it in a transparent manner, the White House has derided it.
They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith. The right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation.
Yeah, caught red-handed. Remember, they literally tried to block him from sight? These people have not just been gaslighting the American public, that's you, but attacking those who dare wonder about the condition of the man who holds the most powerful position in the world. Now, does KJP have any regrets about pushing forward with these lines like cheap fakes? Does Morning Joe and the rest of the chattering class want to rescind their obvious lies about how sharp he is behind closed doors? Joe is who we have been saying he is for the longest time. And I'm talking about Joe Biden, not the other Joe. Why should we trust anything they have to say again? But rather than gracefully bow out of the race like you thought maybe Joe would do for the good of the country, Biden clings to power today, committing to his second debate in September and announcing at a rally in North Carolina he ain't going nowhere.
I'm here in North Carolina for one reason, because I intend to win this state in November. Are you going to see that?
Yep, cough it out. Last night, encapsulating the entire Biden presidency, it's a crisis of their own making. Just like immigration policies caused the illegal immigrant invasion we're still experiencing, just like their economic policies caused inflation to soar and, you know what, interest rates to go just as high. And just like their foreign policy caused our enemies to be emboldened and actually gather together and form an alliance, the administration's policy of keeping Biden largely hidden from the American public caused the unprecedented crisis in the Democratic Party. The president should think long and hard about what he said back in 2022.
Some people ask whether you are fit for the job. And when you hear that, I wonder what you think.
Watch me. I mean, honest to God, that's all I think. Watch me. If you think I don't have the energy level or the mental acuity, then you know, that's one thing.
We watched. Joe, we watched. Are you watching?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.